Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to my channel, Untold Histories. Today, we're going to examine a powerful and uncomfortable question. Why are Americans working more than ever, yet earning less? Have you ever looked at your paycheck and wondered, I'm working harder than before, so why does it feel like I'm falling behind? You might be putting in longer hours, taking on extra responsibilities, or even juggling a second job, yet somehow your financial situation never seems to improve. You're not imagining it. You're also not alone. Millions of Americans feel this same frustration every single day. People are working more hours, producing more value, and pushing themselves harder, yet their financial security feels weaker, not stronger. This growing gap affects families, communities, and the very sense of fairness that once defined the American dream. For decades, Americans were told a simple story: work hard, be productive, and you'll be rewarded. Effort would lead to higher wages, better opportunities, and a more secure future. Hard work wasn't just encouraged, it was promised to pay off. But somewhere along the way, that promise began to break. What if the connection between hard work and higher pay has quietly disappeared? What if no matter how much effort you put in, your paycheck barely moves while the cost of living keeps rising? That is the reality many Americans face today. In this video, we're diving deep into one of the most important and often untold economic truths of our time: why Americans are working more but earning less. This isn't just about money, it's about fairness, opportunity, and the changing meaning of the American dream itself. To understand how we got here, we need to rewind the clock. From the end of World War II through the early 1970s, the U.S. economy followed a remarkably consistent pattern. As productivity increased, wages increased alongside it. When workers produced more value, they shared in the rewards. If factories became more efficient or offices found better ways to work, employees saw the benefits in their paychecks. Families could save money, buy homes, afford education, and plan for the future with confidence. Effort and reward moved together. This created a powerful cycle. Workers were motivated, businesses grew, and a strong middle class emerged. Ordinary Americans could afford things that previous generations had only dreamed of: cars, vacations, and homes with backyards. In many households, a single income was enough to support an entire family. Parents believed their children would have even better opportunities than they did. The American dream wasn't just an idea, it felt achievable. But around the 1970s, something changed. Productivity continued to rise, but wages stopped keeping pace. Technology advanced, machines became smarter, and workers became more skilled than ever before. The economy produced more wealth, but most workers didn't see it. Imagine two lines on a graph. For decades, productivity and wages moved upward together. Then, suddenly, the productivity line shoots up, while wages remain almost flat. That growing gap explains why so many Americans feel their hard work no longer pays off. People were producing far more than previous generations, yet their incomes barely increased. The rewards of economic growth no longer flowed evenly. Instead, they became concentrated at the top. So where did all that extra money go? It didn't disappear. The gains increasingly went to corporations and the wealthiest individuals, while ordinary workers were left behind. The link between effort and reward weakened, reshaping the economy and leaving many feeling undervalued, overworked, and financially stuck. And that's the untold truth behind why Americans are working more but earning less. Corporate profits soared, and CEO pay went from being about 30 times the average worker's salary to hundreds of times more. This growing gap between the rich and everyone else is what economists call income inequality, and it's a huge piece of this puzzle. The economic pie got bigger, but the slices were divided very, very differently. The wealthy got massive slices, while the rest of us were left with smaller and smaller crumbs, even though we were the ones baking the pie. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, my paycheck has gone up over the years. And you're right, nominally it has. The number on your check is bigger than it was 20 years ago. But the real question is, what can that money actually buy? This brings us to another critical factor: inflation and the rising cost of living. The price of everything has gone up: housing, healthcare, education, even groceries. A college degree that cost a few $1,000s a generation ago now costs tens or even hundreds of thousands. A house in many cities feels completely out of reach for the average person. So while your wages might have inched up, the cost of the basic building blocks of a stable life has galloped ahead, leaving your real inflation-adjusted wages stagnant or even lower than they were decades ago. It feels like running on a treadmill. You're putting in all the effort, but you're not actually getting anywhere. What caused this great decoupling of wages and productivity? There isn't one single villain in this story. It's a combination of powerful forces that have reshaped our economy. One major factor is the decline of unions. For a long time, unions gave workers collective bargaining power. They could negotiate for better wages, benefits, and working conditions. As union membership has declined, the power has shifted more and more to employers, leaving individual workers with less leverage to demand their fair share. Another huge change was globalization and automation. Companies began moving manufacturing jobs overseas where labor was cheaper. This put downward pressure on the wages of American workers, who are now competing with a global labor force. At the same time, technology and automation started replacing certain types of jobs. While technology creates new jobs, it often requires different skills, and the transition hasn't always been smooth. Many of the stable, middle-class jobs of the past have been replaced by lower-paying service sector jobs. Think of the shift from a well-paid factory worker to a minimum-wage retail or fast food employee. Policy decisions also played a massive role. Changes in tax laws have often favored the wealthy and corporations, allowing them to keep a larger share of the profits. The federal minimum wage is another key example. If the minimum wage had kept pace with productivity since the 1960s, it would be well over $20 an hour today. Instead, its real value has eroded significantly over time, setting a very low floor for wages across the entire economy. It's not just about the minimum wage itself. It has a ripple effect, influencing what other low and middle-income workers are paid. This isn't just an economic issue, it's a human issue. It affects our stress levels, our health, and our ability to plan for the future. It means taking on more debt, whether it's student loans, credit card debt, or mortgages we struggle to pay. It means people are working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. The side hustle has gone from being a way to earn extra fun money to a necessity for survival. It changes family dynamics, forcing both parents to work long hours and spend less time with their children. It creates a constant sense of anxiety and insecurity, a feeling that one unexpected medical bill or car repair could send your entire financial life into a tailspin. So, what can be done? This problem is complex, and the solutions will be too. There's no single magic bullet. However, experts point to a range of potential policy changes. This could include strengthening workers' rights to organize and bargain collectively. It could mean raising the minimum wage to a living wage and tying it to inflation. Rethinking our tax code to be fairer and investing more in education and job training to prepare workers for the jobs of the future are also crucial. Investing in infrastructure can create good-paying jobs, and making healthcare and higher education more affordable would free up huge amounts of household income. This isn't about punishing success, it's about making sure that success is shared more broadly. It's about rebuilding an economy where hard work actually pays off for everyone, not just those at the very top. It's about restoring the promise that if you contribute to the economy's growth, you will share in the rewards. The first step is understanding the problem. By talking about this, by understanding the forces at play, we can start to have a real conversation about what kind of economy we want to live in. We can demand policies that create an economy that works for all Americans, not just a select few. The story of working more and earning less doesn't have to be our future. It's a trend that was created by a series of choices, and it can be changed by a new series of choices. It requires us to get engaged, to stay informed, and to advocate for a system where prosperity is shared. What are your thoughts on this? Have you felt this squeeze in your own life? Let me know down in the comments. I read every single one. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the issues that shape our world. We'll see you in the next one.